Okay.
I look bald, is that it?
Yeah, I think we're cooking here. Yeah, we are. Okay, this is Jerry DeBrescia interviewing Guerdon Yt about his time in the military. Guerdon, can you tell me, just for the record, your hometown?
That was Lakewood then.
Lakewood. And you graduated from Hancock Central?
Yeah.
67. Was your dad in the military?
No.
No. Okay, I'm going to sit back here a little bit. You went from high school into the Marines. You didn't go into a job first, right?
Oh, no. No, I was on a 120-day plan.
Okay.
You could get 3 months before you were, and that would come off your reserve time.
Okay. Okay. So you enlisted. I think you told me once, but where did you enlist? Did you go in with somebody else, or?
No, I was. I enlisted in Scranton.
Okay.
The post office in Scranton.
Okay. It wasn't under a buddy system or anything.
No.
Just
no.
Straight draft. Okay. And that's where you were sworn in. You were sworn to the service at Scranton.
Oh yeah.
Right. Okay. Remember I'm sure you do. What was your date of enlistment?
The date that I went in, the 5th of July.
July. Okay. Okay. And you went directly from there to where for basic?
At Paris Island.
Paris Island. Okay. How long was your basic back in those years?
8 weeks.
8 weeks. Okay. And you went from there. Did you ever leave after basic?
No. We went to infantry training.
Okay.
Right after that.
Okay. And where was that? At Paris Island?
Camp Geiger. It was the name of it. It's Camp Geiger up around Lejeune. It was part of Camp Lejeune.
Okay. Okay. When did you pick up your MOS, in your occupational specialty in Marines?
Towards the end of boot camp.
In the boot camp? You knew what it was?
We knew what we would have, yeah.
Okay. Then you went to advanced, that was like advanced infantry after basic?
Yeah.
Then you went someplace for technical training, probably?
For truck driver school.
Okay. And where was that?
That was at Montford Point was the name of the place.
Okay.
And that was in Camp Lejeune, too.
Okay. Was basic about what you expected?
Oh, yeah.
Was that?
Yeah, I figured it wouldn't be easy.
Yeah. What was the biggest surprise? Was there a big surprise?
I think when we first got off, we got from the train in Charleston, took the bus down, and went out to because that's on a causeway out to the island. And when we got out there, we had, he says, you've got 5 seconds to get off this bus and be on the footsteps, and 3 of them are gone. And
there you are.
Ran. So we're good then.
We're still good, yeah. So you went to technical training, then you had to leave after that, I think you said before you...
Right, I had to leave then. And then the staging in California, Camp Pendleton.
Okay.
And you had about a month there.
Right. How many units did they stage at one time? It wasn't just well, you weren't in a unit then yet, were you?
No, we weren't you didn't get into your unit till you went overseas.
Okay.
But they have groups, different stages of being ready. What staging is just getting ready for the plane going out.
Okay.
Till you get a flight out.
Okay. Now you told me once, where you flew into Da Nang?
Yeah.
You flew to Vietnam?
Yeah.
Okay. So how'd you get, you landed there and then where'd you go?
Oh, we were taken from a C-130 then.
Okay.
Up to Dong Ha.
All right.
There's an airport up there.
And that's where you picked up your unit assignment?
Right, yeah.
There. Okay. So, did they have any kind of familiarization or training there, or did you just get right to work?
You went right to work.
Right to work?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. When you got there at Dong Ha, did they give you a briefing on what the real mission of the unit was? What were you there for?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Well, you probably got something about you were in support of 3rd Marines.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, right?
But what I did, there was a guy in the outfit, Frenchie, and he was rotating back to the States.
Mm-hmm.
He was the fuel truck driver. So he kind of got a hold of me and said, hey,
Just what
you want to do it? I said, yeah, why not? Because he said you never never stay around for formations or anything. You always hit the road.
Really?
You get on Saturday when they'd have a formation inspection.
Yeah.
You go do your Contian or rock pile, whatever.
Right. Right. Was the rock pile a really hot spot when you first got there?
Pretty much. It was off and on, you know. Sometimes you go in there, you wouldn't even know there's anything going on.
Yeah. Well, when we talked before, you talked about the rock pile.
Yeah.
And I was talking with somebody else that was in the Army over there. I don't know where he was. And I said, yeah, this guy down in Carbondale said he was at the rock pile. And he says, he was. He says, you better talk to him about that. And I guess depending on what operation was going on, maybe.
Right.
How hot it was.
Now, it was worse at Camp Carroll, I would say, because I used to have infantry go up the road with me.
Really?
On each, oh yes.
Now, they didn't normally go with you?
No, not usually.
Not usually.
Camp Carroll they did because they were too many of them in there. They were
Right. What was the normal or an average length of your trip that you were taking? Because you were supplying forward units, right?
Yeah.
Artillery?
Oh. I wouldn't really know miles, but I'd say probably 10, 15 miles.
15 miles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe some of them a little farther, but.
Right. Now, did those trips change a lot over the time you were there, getting better or worse or more dangerous or more secure? Or was it always about the same?
Yeah, once in a while it'd get a little worse.
Mm-hmm.
And there was I'm trying to think, it was going on in Contian, Camlow Village. You had to go through the village. Mm-hmm. And that was a little scary there.
Right. You told me once about a guy, one truck got blown up, knocked down, whatever, disabled. You took the driver. Where was that? What trip? What destination was that?
That was up Highway 9, so that would be right outside of Camlow. I was headed for the rock pile myself.
Really? Now, when you went to the rock pile, there were artillery units there that you were resupplying. That was your purpose in going there, right? That was your purpose in going any place.
Yeah, I was gassing up the guns.
Right. Now, were you trained to fire any of the weaponry? Or did you fire any of it yourself?
No.
Okay. As you were there, you went in February of '68?
Yeah.
So that was during the Tet Offensive?
Yeah.
Did the morale of your troops in your area get better or worse over the next 12 months because of that or result of it?
Not really.
No. You were busy enough just keeping alive.
Our base was. They kept some guns there around the perimeter, so you know they didn't bother us too much with that artillery there.
Right.
Because we could shoot down and they could shoot down into the village.
The village you were at.
Yeah.
So you weren't on the high ground.
Oh, we were on our own hill. We were separate from Dong Ha. We were called Dong Ha West because we draw fire from them too.
Okay.
And then we were better off because they hit the ammo dump one time.
Yeah. You listed a number of operations. Well, you said you were in how many operations while you were there?
42.
42. Tell me about a couple of them you listed here. I'm sure they were the bigger ones. I'll give you the name here in a minute.
I never even knew when there was another operation. I just
yeah, there's so much going on. You
right,
worry about where you are.
And went, you know.
Yeah. Well, one was Napoleon
Saline.
Saline.
That was a big one. That was. I think that was kind of during Ted, right around there.
Yeah. They listed. They said it was in Quang Tri province.
Yeah.
Now, was that the province you basically operated in? Was Quang Tri?
Quang Tri province. Yeah.
Okay.
Dong, I was part of that.
It was along a river. Pronounce that river for me.
Quaviet River.
Maybe, yeah. And the purpose of that was just what? Why were we doing Napoleon Saline? Just search and destroy?
Really, yeah. It was. There was. I don't have the book with me, but I have a book of 3rd Division.
Yeah.
5 days in May, they called it. And it was Dido, and in that village, they seized a lot of rifles, AK-47s, ammunition.
Okay. Well, it was roughly during that time that Virginia Ridge.
Yeah, that was another.
Was also going on, I think, during some part of that.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
Was that any different from Napoleon Saline, or just
no?
Different location.
They were just about all the same.
All the same.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they had one was a little. Utah Mesa was another one you listed, and
that was. They were, like I said, just about all the same because I did the fuel. I wasn't really in on the.
Right.
The only time I manned a gun was we took supplies down to Way City.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Citadel they had taken over.
Yep.
And our guys were out of sea rations, out of ammunition. So we went down and we had to man the guns on a Navy, they called a brown water Navy.
Water, yeah.
Yeah. It was the brown water Navy, and we manned the guns, manned the 50s and 60s.
Okay. So the brown water Navy was just basically what they called the Navy that operated within the interior waterways of Vietnam.
Yeah, because all the rivers were brown.
Yeah. At the end of Way, what was the Marines or what was your organization's opinion of how things had gone with most of the Tet Offensive in Way? Were we satisfied that we pushed them back and we won that particular?
Yeah, they took over the Way City. We took it over.
Yeah, great.
And there were a lot of them. They killed an awful lot of people there, I know that.
Yeah.
They were all over the place.
Yeah. Now you went into Quezon too, right?
Yeah, I was in the convoy when they pulled them out.
Mm-hmm.
I went in to help, you know.
All right. Did you see any other guys from Hancock that were at Quezon during the siege?
No.
No, okay. Yeah, I think there were a couple guys, I'm not sure who they were. I didn't realize a year before there'd been a siege at Quezon in '67.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as well known because it wasn't part of the Tet Offensive.
It wasn't, it wasn't.
Right.
But that was a bad one then because the guys told me they had to, they'd go out and shave and that would be it. They'd hit you every day at the same time, they told me.
Really? Yeah, that guy that was going to be interviewed, that's where he got the Silver Star, was defense of that.
Yeah, the case on was pretty bad.
Yeah.
And we only went in just to fill the guns
and
bring them out.
Yeah, that's enough.
Because they were, yeah.
That's enough.
And couldn't believe it, how it was, B-52 strikes in the perimeter. And, it was really...
When they scheduled, or they didn't tell you about the schedule probably, but When you had an operation, any operation, was there usually a pattern to it? Did they usually go with artillery first and then airstrikes and then send in the ground troops, or wasn't it that way?
Well, with us, the Marines did the vertical envelopment because we had our land, sea, and air.
Yeah.
They would use naval gunfire and the F-4s,
Yep.
the Phantoms,
Yep.
and then tanks and
So they did soften
infantry
it
would
up.
go in.
Yeah.
Right. That was kind of the.
Okay. Because reading about it, I didn't get that it was that clear, but it seemed that'd be the logical thing to do. So.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, they kind of loosened things up.
Yeah. Was
The
there?
16-inch Navy guns did a lot of damage.
And they could reach from.
They could reach all the way inland. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. When they fired them out of the sides, it moved 3 foot, the whole ship. And those are big battleships.
Yeah. You mentioned that you were in operation with loading team off the coast. Tell us about that. The loading exercise you did, or what work you did.
Oh, that was, Vietnam was done. I was out of there.
Oh, okay.
But from the ship, you had to get on the mike boats. You had to back the jeeps and trailers on, and then you do your beach landing practice and everything.
Right. So what was, I'm assuming, what was different between your first 12 months and the rest of your duty? Did it change? Did the war change?
Oh, yeah.
During that period of time?
Yeah. I refueled the planes in Cherry Point when I was there. That was my next. Why I extended was my orders came up for Quantico,
Okay.
and I'd be a bus driver. So didn't want that. So I said I'd rather stay here.
Yeah.
And then I got Cherry Point, so I said, okay, I'll take that one. That
Yeah.
was pretty good. It was air wing,
Yeah.
and I refueled, defueled planes.
Yeah. Well, they were probably pretty intense at Cherry Point at that time of the war for training. I'm assuming that it was.
You know, it wasn't too bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things were kind of winding down there at that time. They were starting to bring them home.
Yeah.
Like the outfits that had been in there quite a while, they came out, and they just work on down through till.
Well, the 3rd Marines stayed over there after you came back, right? When did they bring them back?
3rd Division.
3rd Division, rather.
They came out in 70 sometime because I was down in I was in Okinawa
Okay.
at my last year. I was Camp Schwab, and then we left from there for when we went on the ships and everything. And I met a guy that I knew in our old outfit at 412.
Okay. Tell me about the Walking Dead again. I know that's not your unit, but what were they? Why were they called the Walking Dead?
Well, they used to get wiped out. Nothing for them to have maybe 4 or 5 guys left out of a platoon. You know, they used to say they could go on R&R and somebody get shot. You know,
Now they were north of you. They were closer to the.
no, they were
beach?
right with us.
They're right with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Carlos Hancock was with them too. He was the sniper that you probably heard about him. He was with 9th Marines.
9th Marines.
267 shots, and he had 267 kills.
Wow.
He didn't.
What do you remember the most about your time in Vietnam? The most vivid memory you've got about something going on over there, good or bad?
I think the guys that I worked with, they were all, the other drivers, everybody got along. Didn't have
Yeah.
We were all in it together, and you know, it was.
Great.
And when you saw the guys later, like in Okinawa, like I said, I saw 2 or 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I saw one in the Philippines, and it was the same office, same outfit. And, you know, just to see them again, you know.
Yeah. Because actually, you didn't rotate back and forth as a unit. It was individual.
Always individual.
Yeah. Right.
When your 13 months was up, you could.
That was 13, not 12?
13 we had.
Really? Okay. So you were there, and then when you came back, things were different, at least than when you were in high school. Someday somebody, one of your kids or grandchildren or something, hopefully they'll be watching this. What would you like to tell them about your time over there? What was really the most satisfying or the message you'd like to leave them?
I don't really. No, I'd just tell them that, you know, they don't even teach that anymore, but you have to kind of tell the kids that, you know, what you did.
Right.
And they see my picture there.
Yep.
My granddaughter will say, "Who's that?"
Yeah. Yeah.
A little younger then, so.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a different thing. I might cut this out of this thing. When I was a kid, and I'm a little bit older than you, everybody's in World War II made a big deal out of it.
Right.
For my whole childhood.
Yeah. It was a lot different.
Our war wasn't like that.
Yeah.
You guys were.
Everybody hated you.
Yep.
You came in. You came into California to have the Hare Krishnas there, and.
Yeah. Now, did you feel it as much when you got back home in Northeast Pennsylvania and Southern Tier?
Not as bad here because.
Yeah, I've heard people say that. Or,
yeah, there's a lot more. In a bigger city, I imagine they had more problems.
Yeah,
guys get.
Yeah. Well, you lost one friend from here in Vietnam, right?
Yeah.
And when did you find out about him?
About
his death?
Dennis.
Yeah.
I was in boot camp, and they wouldn't tell me till afterwards. I was.
It must have been just about the beginning of boot camp when he died.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because remember Eleanor, DeMond, and Ma wouldn't say anything to me till I got out of boot camp. They didn't want to goof that up.
Yeah.
Because you got enough trouble anyway.
Yeah.
I was praying to the sun god just about every day there. Watching television on your elbows and.
Yeah.
Because I'd get laughing. They were funny. They were. I think they have to kind of get you to, you know, and you laugh at, and then sun god, pray to the sun god. You have to go down on your knees, back.
Oh, really?
Then when you stood up, they tell you to stand attention. You're wobbling all over because you've been there so long.
Yeah, that's quite a session, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, that old Paris Island.
Yeah,
And you know what? I was overseas then in Vietnam, and I was getting a requisition for fuel. I had to go over to the regiment to get the requisition. In the Jeep, right next to me, is my old drill instructor.
Really?
Yeah.
Did he know you?
Yeah.
Did he?
Oh yeah. Because I went over and I spoke to him. Well, I said, he looked. I was Lance Corporal then. And he said, "Roland's a corporal." I said, "Yeah, but he's been shot too. You know, he's on the hospital ship and everything." And he thought, "Once a shit bird, always a shit bird." That's just.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's.
But then, you know, he shook my hand and everything. Says,
Do you think it? I'm talking about the whole thing, but basically basic. It changes you as a person, especially Marine basic training.
"Oh yeah."
In what way?
Yeah. I don't know, it's hard to tell somebody just what it's like because it's so much different now.
It is different now, you think?
Oh, it's a lot different. It's 12-week now.
Okay, yeah.
And it's well, they had to get us through in 8 weeks to get us over there, you know.
Right.
But now it's in the peacetime strength, so.
Yeah, the people that I've seen interviewed who talked about it said that they thought the biggest change in their life was discipline.
Yeah, oh yeah. I think a lot of kids ought to have it today.
Yeah.
And, I could tell you a story. The kid, we were sitting on our porch, and here's a kid taking all the flags and throwing them on the ground on the cemetery. We go right across the road from the cemetery. Yeah. And, you know, just throwing them on the ground. Well, I caught him. I went over and I caught him. Made him go through, put every one of them back. And when I got back, the neighbor girl says, I bet he got a little history lesson too, didn't he? I said, oh, he sure did.
That's good.
I says that he won't do that again, I don't think.
Yeah. Did you ever see that TV thing they have about We Did It For You? About something like that happened? And I don't know, there was a Legion put it on or something. Some kids were doing something. And a bunch of old bucks, not that you're old, Guerdon.
Okay. Well, I'm up there.
But you're getting there, right? They did something like that with those kids, showed them what it meant.
Yeah. That's what they needed, but they just don't, I don't know, they just don't have, they don't study that anymore.
They don't.
It's all forgotten.
Yeah.
Like they ought to know about World War I and II.
Yeah, there's a big change.
And I told...
well, they ought to learn
and
what they've got and why they got it.
Yeah, Haley, even one day, she says, why are your collars so tight up there? I said, well, that's from the Revolution.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Tell us why that is. You told me, but go ahead and tell the camera why the collar's like that.
Oh, the collars are like that because during the Revolution, the British were cutting the heads off, cutting their throats and everything with the swords. So the Marines came up with the idea of the leather strap around their neck.
Mm-hmm.
And it ended that.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, that's valuable history, no doubt about it.
Yeah, that was.
Well, good.
We had to go through classes like that. There were times that you'd go in, you'd have to, you know, here's a Chesty Puller. He was at World War II. And the one guy called on the phone and he says, what do I do? I'm the only, he says, I need reinforcements. Well, so you're still there, aren't you?
Yeah. Did they teach you about Basilone as part of your training? John Basilone?
No.
World War II? No?
No.
I was drinking with an older Marine than you at one time. He taught me all about that. He's a famous Marine from New Jersey.
Oh.
During World War II, went back in Korea, I think. But yeah, there's a lot of history. This is all part of the story. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Well, is there anything else you'd like to add while we're all set up here?
No, I don't think so. That's
okay. Good. Well, good. Well, I appreciate you doing it.
Oh, okay.
And I really, it was an honor to do this. I mean it.
Really?
Very pleased to do this. Thank you. That's it, folks.
Okay.
We'll put the cartoons at the end of it and be all set.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.